Okay, so the last section here is what we call walking the talk. And so these are just some blocking and tackling things about the generation that I think you need to know. The first, I think everyone in the room has heard a lot of talk about influencers. I think we all know about the value of influencers. Some of us have different opinions about whether they're going to get stronger or not. Well, Gen Z says, guess what? They're going to get stronger. I'm going to continue to discover brands this way. They're going to be more valuable to me over the future. So we need to make sure that we continue to think about those influencers. I think the important part is not just influencers for the sake of influencers. You heard a lot about being authentic and true and values-based and caring what they care about, so that's important. Not a big breaker of news that they're on YouTube, but what I think is really important was how they use YouTube. So in part of our survey, we had these people go through a customer journey about a recent product purchase. And we learned a couple of things. One is Gen Z, more than any other generation, if they've got a brand in mind, they're going to go study it first before they actually spend the money. They're going to research it. But if I asked all of you, so let's say you're in the same boat, you want to research the next product that you're going to buy, where are you going to go? I would say most of us, at least I, would go to Google, right? Tell me the best, is this any good, whatever it is. They go to YouTube. That's their first place that they're going to find out if this brand is the one that I should buy. So if it is a restaurant like Sushi by Boo, they're going to go YouTube and say, who else has been there? And they're going to see all these people that have had these great reviews. If it's a product, they want to see how did you use the product. So if it's Aussie, they're going to say, hey, how did you use this new product? Is this oil in your hair? And so you've got to make sure that you've got content on YouTube because they're searching for you there. If you're not there and you don't have a strategy, you're going to miss out on a lot of potential customers. And then the last point is just, it was interesting to me, this generation at a higher rate than almost any other follows CEOs and brand leaders on social media. So we get the question from clients often, like, should our CEO be online? The answer to this generation is yes, and they don't differentiate CEO from brand. It's all one and the same. And so that CEO should be the voice. I remember when I was 15 to 22, I don't think I knew many CEO names. And today, Elon Musk is in their social media feed, right? So they are following these people, and that's what attracts them to brands.
So just quickly, Michael, if you're on YouTube, TikTok now, what should you be doing?
Okay, so YouTube is obviously, I mean, you guys know about YouTube. It's great with influencers because they can have that one-on-one connection. At least you feel the influencer is more like your friend as opposed to a big celebrity talking to you. Obviously, YouTube's huge because you get a lot more of their attention than on Instagram where you might get like a half-second scroll on one of your ads. I do really want to talk about TikTok here. We talked about earlier, a ton of kids on it, all about authenticity, all about vulnerability. How can brands actively use this platform? There's a lot of reward here potentially, but it's difficult because it's all about kids, all about being authentic. Brands need to kind of tread carefully here. How can they do that? Well, it can't be really curated and it needs to be about thinking about what makes your brand who you are, what makes your brand more than just like a faceless company, what makes it a group of people, right? Red Bull does great with this. They have 3.5 million followers on TikTok. Their hashtag gives you wings is their bio. All of their stuff is pushing it to the limit. They've got like motocross, they've got skydiving, they've got parkour. Now that all makes for great TikTok content. Your brand might not be as perfectly suited for TikTok as Red Bull is, but what you can learn from this is essentially thinking about what makes your brand unique and going with that authentically. Another way you can use TikTok is with branded challenges. Chipotle did this great with a hashtag guac dance in the summer. They kicked this off with influencers like Brent Rivera. He's formerly of Vine. He's doing a goofy dance with guacamole to like the guacamole song to celebrate National Guacamole Day. This blew up 250,000 video submissions from, and this is, I mean, kids creating their own content. They're doing free advertising for you. And again, the positive feedback loop, when people are seeing them do their videos, they want to create their own videos. This ended up, their avocado usage on National Avocado Day went up 68%. So this is an amazing campaign, the best that's been on TikTok. So you can go about making your own content on TikTok if it's right for your brand, but if not, just have influencers kick off a campaign for you and just have them do the work, have the kids make their own content. And if you make an interesting challenge, let the kids be themselves. There's like a goofy guacamole dance and boom, their avocado usage went through the roof. So stuff like that, TikTok, there's a lot of possible reward there, and if you do it correctly, you can put your avocado usage through the roof or whatever.
So influencers are obviously not going anywhere. You use them in a very interesting way, and the relationship is pretty outstanding. So tell us just how that all happens, and what makes it unique.
It's not all about the reach. It's about the connection. So most of our most successful influencers in terms of engagement, we first found for non-beauty, non-hair reasons why we loved them. We had one influencer who was bullied for her curls growing up, and she started to use humor as a way to kind of relieve herself of that stress. And got a following. She happened to have great hair, but we loved her because of the story she had to tell. And we found her early. And what's interesting with Gen Zers is they're very, very knowledgeable of who's sponsored and what, but if you're upfront about it, they give you credit for it. So when we engaged with her, her followers were saying like, wow, Aussie's giving you coin, that's amazing. Or like, you're so awesome, it's cool that Aussie sees that in you. And the reason why they love that is they see themselves in that influencer. And that's the value that we get. So that's been a major factor in criteria and who we pick. So you won't see necessarily the highest reach influencers, but they're driving the more meaningful connections. And then we are very co-creation oriented in how they drive conversations about Aussie with us. So these images are all based on us giving a simple direction of make sure it feels like you're sharing Aussie, and have at it. And what we're finding is there's a lot of creative expression with Gen Zers. Part of it is a little bit of levity from the stress, but they made these brand worlds for us. We didn't ask them. I wish I actually had their graphic tips for some other work that I do. And you know, it doesn't even necessarily have to be polished either. That lends a little bit to the real factor of it, and creates a flywheel too of consumers mimicking it. So Leah, sorry, I know them all their names. Leah on the top left, that image her followers will mimic in their own images and say, hey, Leah and Aussie, I did this, to show you that I'm really vibing with what you're doing. So just an example of when we put them a little bit in the driver's seat with us, we get a lot more engagement overall.